GEGP. It is Sunday, May 12th, 2024, and y'all are tapped in for another episode of Hot Takes and Trending Topics, where I talk about what's happening in the sports world today, whether that's NBA, NHL, NBA, WNBA, NFL, college football, doesn't matter. Whatever is happening in the sports world today that is trending, that is a hot topic item, we are going to discuss it. Have a damn good time. I appreciate you being here. If you're new to the station, new to the channel, I know y'all be watching. I got the data. I see the numbers. Hit that subscribe button. You hit the thumbs up button. You like the content. You comment below. We do all type of dope giveaways. Subscribe to the channel and help a young independent content creator grow. That would greatly, greatly appreciate it if you would all do that, because I know y'all are watching. I know y'all are entertained. So hit that subscribe button. And if you want to get more of my content, holla at your boy on X at RayGQ. Now, tomorrow morning, I got a special announcement, because we do a show every single week. Monday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wake up with Ray G, me, and my co-host Jay Rich. We're on there. We have a good time. We talk NFL. We talk about whatever the hell is happening. And we don't normally have guests on that show. But on this episode tomorrow morning, we are going to bring on my good friend, one of my best friends in the industry. He does his work over at Fantasy Pros. He's one of the best in the game. I'm talking about that man, Derek Brown, at D-Bro on X. Me, D-Bro, and Jay Rich, 100 hot takes for the 2024 NFL season is going down tomorrow morning. So make sure you pull up 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for Wake Up with Ray G. Now let's dive into the first fun, exciting topic that we should all agree on, because it's about damn time. NCAA 2025, there is new footage, there are new images, they got the cover. We see the athletes, Travis Hunter, Donovan Edwards, Quinn Ewers, Jalen Milroe, Carson Beck, Quinshon Judkins, all on the cover. We are all excited. 2014 was the last time the game released, and it's supposed to go live this summer. Everybody is excited. I saw some gameplay footage. It's going to be dope as hell, and it's coming at a good time. Got this damn Xbox upstairs that I've never used, the next-gen console. I don't know if it's the X, the Xbox One, whatever it is. Ain't played it, but once this drops, it's bringing me back to childhood. I am all in, and I know you're probably all in as well. So NCAA 25 is back. We are all excited about that. Now, NBA today, we got the Nuggets and the Timberwolves playing probably about right now, or right when this video posts. Anthony Edwards versus three-time NBA MVP Nikola Jokic is going to be a damn good one. Series is 2-1 in favor of the Wolves. Hey, but the Nuggets had to remind everybody, like, we are the defending champs here, and I know everybody's excited about Anthony Edwards, Michael Jordan 2.0, whatever you want to call him, but make no mistake about it, we ain't going down without a fight. So it should be a good game tonight, as well as we will see the Knicks try to rebound from the beatdown that they got today from the Indiana Pacers later this week. Jalen Brunson a little banged up. Knicks banged up everywhere. Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, OG out. Jalen Brunson not 100%. Everybody got to play 95 minutes in the game. It just felt good, that old nostalgic feeling, watching Reggie Miller versus, those Knicks teams with Patrick Ewing. You've got all those greats, Charlie Ward and company. I mean, it felt like one of those old school battles right here with the Knicks and the Pacers. Even though the Knicks are not at full strength, the series is tied 2-2 going back to MSG, Madison Square Garden. It should be a damn good one watching that series play out over there. And speaking of the NBA, we always got to talk about number one overall picks. Congratulations to the Atlanta Hawks, who land the number one overall pick. They won the draft lottery for the 2024 NBA draft. I couldn't tell you a damn thing about who's coming out this year in this class. There's no Wembanyama, I don't believe. Cooper Flagg's not until next year. So nobody, I don't know a soul here in the 24 draft, but all the chatter and the speculation is about Trae Young leaving Atlanta and potentially maybe on his way down to San Antonio. I believe they got the number 4 overall pick in 2024. So pairing up Trae Young with Rookie of the Year Victor Wembanyama. Hey, Greg Popovich looked like he wanted to retire a couple of years ago, but it seems like with everything that they're trying to build in San Antonio, if they're able to pull a Trae Young down there to San Antonio, could be good for them moving forward. Because you look around the NBA, pretty soon, a lot of these old-time staples that we're normally used to hearing, the LeBrons, the KDs, their time is coming to an end. And we saw what Wemby did in his first year in the NBA. Stock up for San Antonio. Stock up for that young man. Stock up also for the WNBA. Let's freaking go, WNBA. And let's start with this baddest woman on the planet. You miss Caitlin Clark of the Indiana Fever. And because of the popularity and the way that she plays the game and the eyeballs and the attention that she was able to bring to college basketball for the women, and the WNBA, they got charter flights now. They got chartered flights. So now these women, when they're traveling to play their games from city to city, they get to fly private, just like the big boys, right? Just like the NBA, just like the NFL, and it's long overdue. I mean, hell, it was the other day. I'm flying out of DFW, and I'm sitting back there with damn Enrique Ogunbowale, man. This is damn WNBA All-Star. We back there in 27C together talking like, damn, y'all got to fly all the way to D.C. Why you back here with me? This Southwest, you don't need to be back here. So this is good for the WNBA and the popularity that Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, Paige Beckers, and company have brought to the women's game. They're only going to continue to get more of that pie because they're bringing in more revenue and it ain't slowing down. You see the USC helmet back there? Juju Watkins is up next out of USC. So congratulations to the WNBA. This is a good move, as well as they got a new team going to Toronto. My homeboy, my homeboy, one of my best friends, my co-host Jay Rich lives out there, the Toronto area. They're getting a WNBA team. So expanding, elevating those women, their sport is fantastic. It's in really good hands. And I can't wait to see the growth. I love everything, man. I'm watching UFL, WNBA. I got the damn Mets game on in the living room right now. So good for the WNBA, good for Caitlin Clark. And speaking of the NBA, WNBA, a lot of the chatter this week, and I'm just sitting back. I played no professional ball, never claimed, never will. Played some college football for a few years, played in high school, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm seeing a lot of chatter about NBA versus NFL. Could NFL players play in the NBA? Could NBA players play in the NFL? And I've listened to a lot of arguments, a lot of professional basketball players thinking that they can go out there and play in the NFL. And what I haven't seen a lot of are NFL players saying that they can go play in the NBA. So I wanted to talk about this a little bit just from my perspective. So like I said, coming out of high school, recruited by Boise State, got into some trouble. Boise State coach knew a Division II coach in Chadron, Nebraska, and I was able to not transfer my scholarship over, but get paid to go play some D2 ball because of the shit that I got into coming out of high school, which limited me from going to Boise State. But I played basketball in high school, and I knew due to the height and due to the skill, all that, there was no shot. There was no shot, there was no collegiate shot. Hell, there was no varsity shot for your boy in basketball. But the mentality that you got to have to play football, any NBA player, I'm listening to Ryan Clark talking about if one of them cats went out there and thought that they can come over the middle, play wide receiver, what he would do to him. I mean, we would relish. We used to love when track athletes, basketball players used to come out there thinking they can get on the field. The mentality that you have to play football. And if you've never played, and I'm going to say at a high level, and what I mean by that, if you really played high school football, I'm not talking about freshman, JV, varsity level football in a state or in an area that you've got at least 4A. The mentality that you have to play football, like you're not right in the head. Like you are absolutely, there's a screw or two loose to want to go out there and literally move as fast as you possibly can and lay your body into somebody else who's moving equally as fast as you. I don't care how athletic you are, how tall, how much skill you think you have, to go out there and get your shit bashed in over and over and over and over again, that ain't something that I believe basketball players or any sane human would want to do, right? And I'm talking high school, college, let alone the NFL. And if you've never been to an NFL game or been low enough to just feel the speed, feel the power, it's a different game, man. It's a different game. I've been down there and I'm like, damn, I played, and I'm looking at this like I would want no part of Marshawn Lynch running full speed at me. I don't want those problems, and I promise you there probably are very few basketball players that would want those issues either. I mean, we've seen some dual sport athletes, one of the greatest to ever do it in college, both on the football field and basketball field. Charlie Ward won the damn Heisman at Florida State, played for the Knicks. We're talking about the Knicks and the Pacers. He's a part of that rivalry, that old Knicks-Pacers rivalry. We've seen some athletes be able to play both professional basketball and be high-level football players, but very rarely are you seeing NBA players transfer over or high-level college basketball players coming over to football and succeeding? You could look at Antonio Gates and Jimmy Graham, Tony Gonzalez, who played collegiate basketball and football, but I'd venture to say those were football players who could play basketball. Keon Coleman is another one of those guys. T. Higgins, good high school basketball player. But this notion that these guys could come over from the NFL and play from the NBA and play in the NFL is asinine. I think it is absolute craziness. We saw the video of Draymond Green. He's going to be an NBA Hall of Famer, whether you like it or not. The criteria is a bit different in the NBA than it is in the NFL. But when he was at Michigan State, he tried to leave the basketball field and come play football, and he looked like a fish out of water. Looked awful. Looked terrible. Allen Iverson can do it. There's some other dual sport athletes that definitely have the physical makeup, the mentality, and the athleticism to succeed, probably in football. But just this notion that it is much easier to play football than it is to play basketball, that's bullshit, man. You can get an average Joe, and if you just had an average Joe that played rec ball at 24-hour fitness and you threw them out there in an NBA game, the likelihood that they would ever hit a shot is probably none. But if you've got somebody that can shoot, if you get it to them, there's a chance that they'll be able to make one in the NBA. I'm not talking about make a move, put the ball on the ground, make a move around somebody, drive to the cup, do any of that shit. I'm talking about just stand there, catch ball, shoot ball, and maybe it goes in. I think there are people who would be able to do that. I don't know how many people on 4th and 2 could go line up in the backfield and take a dive up the A gap and pick up those 2 yards, to go out there and play cornerback on the worst receiver that you think is in the NFL, whomever that may be. And I'm just throwing names out there. I'm trying to think of you think you can go out there and cover Jawan Jennings? It ain't happening. You think you can go out there and cover Treylon Burks right now? Let me tell you something. It would not happen. You would get annihilated off the line of scrimmage. He would just go right around you or run through you. Do you believe you can tackle Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins and his blown Achilles? No. The answer is hell no. I remember that show, Pros versus Joes. It's a different game. It's a conversation that I believe the respect that me, at least as a football player, have for basketball players, man, I can't go out there and do that. You've got to be a certain height. You've got to be a certain skill. People can't even dribble with their left damn hand thinking they can go out there and do something in the NBA. But to think that you can come to the NFL where you are getting your shit bashed in repeatedly, hell no. I think there are very few people. Oh, LeBron, Zion. Yes, athletically, pretty sure there are NBA players who have the athleticism to go do it. Russell Westbrook, crazy athlete. Zion Williamson, LeBron James. But to consistently do it, hell no. I think NBA players are tripping thinking that they can do that. But let me know in the comments, because I know some of y'all out there played in high school and college, maybe professionally. What are y'all thoughts on this whole NBA versus NFL? I think the NBA players are crazy thinking that they can come into the NBA and do something. But let's pivot to the aforementioned NFL. And one of the things that I talk about a lot when I'm trying to understand situation, I truly want to know how NFL teams are operating. And one of the things that I really have started to focus on more than anything is deployment of different personnel groupings. I want to know how many receivers are on the field. Fantasy football, I don't want the wide receiver 4 on a team that's only running 12 personnel. They only put 2 wide receivers on the field. They got a 4-man rotation, but this guy's the primary 4th. I don't want you. Now, if you're playing in an offense where you're running more personnel groupings, 11 is your base formation, you got 3 receivers on the field, there might be a little more opportunity, right, for said wide receiver that could be penciled in as the 4 to get on the field and see some volume. But there was an article that came out today from Bucky Brooks off of NFL.com talking about a trend that he thinks may start happening and we should see this year in the 24 season. And that trend is a lot of teams moving away from some 11 personnel package grouping, which is the primary formation in the NFL, to 12. So again, 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers. This is what most NFL teams deploy as their base formation. Bucky Brooks is saying, nah. I think we're going to see a resurgence of 2 tight end sets in the NFL here in 2024. And it kind of starts with the Green Bay Packers, who deploy this quite a bit. 32% of their formations came out of 12 personnel, 32.9%. Last season, NFL teams on average only deployed this about 19% of the time, which was second behind 11 personnel. But you saw the Packers do this with 2 tight ends, Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft. Also, the Buffalo Bills, once Joe Brady took over for that offense, they leaned into this personnel grouping with 1 running back, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. And the Miami Dolphins, for as fast and crazy as we think that offense is in a high-flying manner, they're only running 2 wide receiver sets. So it's very interesting to see this take place. And one of the things that Bucky Brooks is talking about in this article is the reasoning why teams may do this. So he says in this article, which you can find on NFL.com, he said 2 tight end formations force the opposition to defend an extra gap while negating the advantages of an 8-man front. This grouping also limits coverage selection due to 4 vertical threats that can emerge, with the offense also capable of setting up mismatches by forcing linebackers to handle the quickness of a flex tight end and pitting overwhelmed defensive backs against a physicality of a wide tight end. I believe the increased use of 12 personnel should be a no-brainer for play callers. And you start to think about these teams that have these 2 tight ends. The Bills, even with Dalton Kincaid, they brought back Dawson Knox. You've got Green Bay that took 2 tight ends early in the draft last year. This year, you've got Brock Bowers going 13th overall to a team that already has a young tight end that the team spent a second-round pick on the year before. And it was just interesting reading through this, the next-gen stats, the deployment of these personnel groupings, and sort of the mismatches that teams can deploy with these 2 formations. 12 personnel, Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews. This is something that not only myself, but we should all be paying attention to a little bit more here in 2024. And if we see this increased usage of this formation, it's going to significantly decrease some of the upside for some of these younger players we're talking about, some of these ancillary wide receiver pieces, these WR3s, these WR4s, and potentially increase the probability of the 2 tight end sets and the ability for 2 tight ends to score on an offense to increase even more. Very fascinating article. I love diving in to the football-related shit of fantasy. I love fantasy football, but it all starts and stops with the actual game. So this article kind of talking about the thing that is right up my alley. Groupings, personnel, formations. This is fantastic. Go take a look at it. I'll link this article in the description of the video. Check it out. Let me know what you think about NFL teams deploying more 12 in 2024, and how would you react in fantasy football if you knew that your favorite team was going to, increase this personnel grouping package, 10, 15% here in 2024. Inside of this article, he did talk about the top 5 pass catching groups, and I just want to read these off to you and hear some of the dissension. Let's start with 5 and work our way up to 4. So we're talking about the top 5 pass catching teams in the NFL going into 2024. At 5, he's got the Seattle Seahawks, so we know DK Metcalf, JSN, Tyler Lockett, tight end. They got Noah Fant. So there goes kind of your big 4 out of Seattle. They come in at number 5. Number 4. The Chicago Bears coming in at number 4, and we know who they got. They got 2 tight ends, Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and then y'all know they got that dog out of Washington, Rome Odunze. So they're coming in to 4, and he says these 3 fit together with superpowers that are similar to Voltron. So I fucking love that. Love that for Caleb Williams. Good for the Bears. Excited to watch them this year in 2024. At number 3, the Houston Texans, Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, C.J. Stroud, Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz, Cade Stover, Brevin Jordan, Xavier Hutchinson, John Mechie, Noah Brown, receivers on receivers on receivers. How do they still got Robert Woods over there? Point is, those big 3, Diggs, Dell, and Collins, going to wreak havoc in the AFC South this year. They are coming in as the 3rd best receiving core in the NFL. Number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. At number 2, they brought in some younger guys to kind of fill that slot 3rd receiver role. You got Johnny Wilson, Ananias Smith, and I believe they brought in Paris Campbell, I believe, from the Giants. But Philly at number 2. I don't know about Philly at 2. But number 1, the Miami Dolphins with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Odell Beckham Jr., who recently signed with the Dolphins. I believe it was a 1-year, like $3 million deal that can reach up to 8 with a bunch of incentives. So just interesting piece by Bucky, and more so than the top 5, his assessment and trend of 12 personnel becoming one of the more dominant or more heavily used offensive personnel groupings here in 2024. Now, with that note, and with that being said, let's talk about the rookie mini camps that are underway right now. It's exciting times when you see all these young rookies, all the highlight tapes, and there's been a lot of positive buzz growing from the Denver Broncos side of the house. Bo Nix, drafted in the first round by the Denver Broncos, 12th overall. Some people thought he deserved to be there. Some people said, hell no, no chance in hell Bo Nix is going to be a first-round pick. Well, Sean Payton said, hold my beer. Not only is he going to be a first-round pick, shit, he's probably going to start the season out for the Denver Broncos, whom I like these practice jerseys. Kind of nice. I like these Broncos practice jerseys. But all reports coming out of Denver is Bo Nix looked good. Now, let's take all of this with a grain of salt, because I don't think I read a report where anybody looked bad. Everybody looked incredible. Everybody looks like they're going to be a future All-Pro. But it's positive news coming out of Denver to see that there was good connection there, good command of the offense. And one of the things that I read about Nix is he carries himself like a pro. And I expect nothing less from a player who spent a lot of time in college, who started since his freshman year at Auburn, put up incredible seasons at Oregon in back-to-back years. I expect nothing less out of Bo Nix but to walk into that organization with Sean Payton and conduct himself like the consummate pro. So good stuff for Bo Nix. Also, Malik Neighbors out there doing his damn thing in Giants camp. There was Malik Neighbors had a $10,000 bet with Jayden Daniels, I believe, but with all the things going on with gambling, he said he didn't know the rules, so the bet was off. But Malik Neighbors out there at Giants camp looking good. Don't know if you saw the highlights. We'll talk about those tomorrow morning on Wake Up with myself, Jay Rich, and D-Bro. But Malik Neighbors looking really good. It's just fun and exciting to see these rookies getting on the field, shining and playing together. And then the big dog, Caleb Williams, out there at Bears camp, rocking that old high school number, that 18. Caleb Williams in Chicago. Got our first look at him this week. Now, Rome Odunze did have to leave practice a little early. Apparently, there was some tightness in that hammy. There's no need to try to push it, rush it right now with Rome Odunze. But Caleb Williams on the field, throwing a ball around, looking really, really good. So it's exciting again for the Bears and what they can do here in 2024. Also, Terrion Arnold from the Detroit Lions. I saw a play where he had a nasty interception covering a wide receiver down the field. I think it was a tight end. He had him right in his hip pocket, made the interception look good. So that young player out of Detroit's looking like he's going to be a stud for the Lions at some point in time. And just about every other player. Now, there was a J.J. McCarthy clip that they were showing and circulating. I don't know if it was his first pass, but he was just throwing it to the coach and threw the shit wide right. Again, it was just funny because the comments underneath it, much like Xavier Worthy when the video with him dropping his first pass came out and people were like, there he is, certified bust. It's kind of funny to watch the McCarthy can't complete the ball to his coach, and people were overreacting and panicking on that. And then we also had Jayden Daniels. There was a story coming out of the Washington camp about the number 5 and current Pro Bowl All-Pro punter Tress Way wore number 5, and he gave it up. He and Jayden Daniels worked out a deal. There was a video and or a picture and some captions saying that all he wanted was some seats to a game. Well, he wants some good seats to the game and some other thing. But Jayden Daniels rocking the 5, and the buzz out of Washington was crazy this week with him, Ben Sinnott, Luke McCaffrey talking about how good Jayden Daniels looked. I mean, everybody just singing his praises early. And this is the quarterback, right? This is the one, this Cliff Kingsbury offense. His ability to run the ball, he is a dual threat quarterback. He can beat you on the ground and with his arms. This is the one fantasy football people are really excited about. They are like, all right, if he can hit in this offense with his skill set, he can be a difference maker, a game changer for us. So it's exciting to just watch him early on. And we want to hear positive buzz, right? We want to hear positive. I don't want to hear what Drake Maye is saying about Drake Maye, which leads us to that. And let's talk about Drake Maye, this Drake Maye comment, the comments coming out of the New England camp, and what the chatter is around New England. So they kicked off their rookie mini camp as well, and I don't want to overreact or cause panic on this one. We're just going to read what Drake Maye said about their rookie quarterback, Drake Maye. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read it, and then we're gonna talk about it and react. So here's what Drake Maye said in a press conference following Drake Maye at the minicamp. Here's what he said. He said he has a lot to work on, in quotes. But I have no doubt that he will put in the time. He was here all night trying to get on the same page as everyone else. So it sounds a lot like Hoodie Bill. Sounds like Hoodie Bill. Now, who is Drake Maye? For those of y'all that don't know, I mean, he was an absolute menace at linebacker during his collegiate time at Tennessee, came in the NFL, fantastic linebacker for the New England Patriots for many years. So he is when you talk about a dying breed, I mean, his position is literally a dying breed. That big, physical, imposing Mike, Brian Urlacher type linebacker, you just don't see those guys in the NFL anymore. So he comes from that place of shit, let's strap up, let's go be physical, let's crack heads, let's be crazy. That's some of who Drake Maye is. And Drake Maye, coming out of North Carolina, this was a player that everybody thought for the past couple of years would be a top pick. It came to fruition. He lands in New England in an offense that we're kind of iffy on. We don't know much about Mayo and his coaching tendencies. Alex Van Pelt historically has not produced very explosive and exciting offenses. And then you've got a team where probably their best wide receiver is 5'8" Demario Douglas. You got two young rookies that people like in Jalen Polk and Javon Baker. You still have Tyquan Thornton on the roster. Juju Smith-Schuster is still on the roster. And these old veterans, even though you don't like them, Kendrick Bourne, they're probably going to be on the field with Hunter Henry, Ramondre Stevenson, and whomever the QB1 is. And that's my question. Is there a real case here for Jacoby Brissett to not just start the season, but finish the season as a starter? I'm setting the foundation with that. And I'm going to answer that question by saying, do I believe Jacoby Brissett will finish the season as a starting quarterback? No, I do not. Not absent or outside of an injury to Drake Maye. But I do believe there is a real world where not just Jacoby Brissett, but you go to Minnesota, Sam Darnold. They are starting for those teams week 1 of the 2024 NFL season. Brissett's been a proven NFL quality backup quarterback that can fill in and give you some starts. He's been around the building. He's been around the league. He knows NFL ball. Again, the quote, he has a lot to work on, period. A lot to work on. But I have no doubt that he'll put in the time in order to get there. He was here all night trying to get on the same page as everybody else, and that's what's to be expected. And it's one of the things that I've talked about with these rookies from day one, y'all, like managing expectations, managing where you believe this player should be week 1 of the NFL season. And for me, when I'm looking at these quarterbacks, hell, even Jayden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, I'm not looking at those guys like they're going to walk in week 1 and just tear the league up. If it happens, great. Congratulations. I'll take a bow, hat tip, all of that. But that's not my expectation for these rookies year 1, week 1. Damn sure it's not my expectation for him week 1. So to hear these comments, to know that Jacoby Brissett, this veteran quarterback who's played in New England before, is back today, Sunday, May 12th, if I had to make a prediction, I would say probably I would lean on the side of Jacoby Brissett as the New England Patriots starting quarterback, but it's freaking early. It's rookie minicamp. We haven't even got to OTAs. Training camp is a ways away. So there's still a lot to play out here, but this is just interesting talk from Drake Maye and from Drake Maye, and you're seeing a lot of these new head coaches. They're doing a lot of talking. I mean, you've got Dave Canales really open about what he wants to do and the plan for his offense, talking about Jalen Coker, an undrafted free agent, in a level of detail that led Jim Nagy, who directs the Senior Bowl, to say you normally don't hear head coaches talk about undrafted rookies the way that Dave Canales talked about Jalen Coker. You're listening to him talk about what he wants to do with Bryce Young and the offense and being open and candid about it. It's much different than Mike McCarthy and the Dallas Cowboys. We're all in, yet they're not making any type of all-in moves. So it's refreshing to hear Mayo say these things. It's not discouraging. If this causes the ADP or the hopium or the hype of Drake Maye to fall and his value to dip, I will definitely take some stabs at him. But this is just a reality that I continue to talk about, is lowering or just managing the expectations for young players transitioning from the college game to the NFL game. And to hear this level of candid conversation from an NFL head coach about the number 3 overall pick, that he's got a lot to go. He's got a lot to learn. It's going to be a battle. You've got a veteran in Jacoby Brissett that knows how to play in the NFL. I think there's a good chance that he does start week 1. Now, there is some video about Drake Maye and he's throwing the ball versus Jayden Daniels and how slow the release is for Maye compared to Daniels. It's a bullshit video. the load step in which Jayden Daniels is throwing in that video. He actually starts his throw earlier than Drake Maye. So if you see that, fade that bullshit, fade that narrative. But the real is just kind of listening to the coaches. Hey, he's got a lot to learn. We got a proven veteran on our team. Where y'all at with this comment? Where y'all with Drake Maye? Where y'all with all these rookies? Because the hype is crazy right now. It is crazy hype season. We're just excited. I mean, Ladd McConkey literally ran a 3-yard, I don't even know what the route was, just 3 yards and turn around. And people are calling him the next great wide receiver off of that one route. So that's just the season that we're living in right now. But that's about it. No, I didn't want to talk about Rashee Rice because I'm still trying to figure out what's real, what's fake. I have not dove into that detail, into that situation enough to know if he out there trying to box people at the club or not. But that's it for HTTT here on Sunday, May 12th. I appreciate y'all being in the building. Again, just a quick recap of what's happening in the sports world today. And today we talked the NBA, we talked WNBA and Caitlin Clark, talked NCAA football, talked some rookies, talked some vets, talked some personnel packages. So if you stuck around to the end of the video and you found it actually entertaining, or you just enjoyed 30 minutes of your time, hit that subscribe button. Hit it, smash it, thumbs up, comment below, and then make sure y'all wake y'all asses up tomorrow morning with me, Jay Rich, and my dog, my brother from another mother, Derek Brown from Fantasy Pros. 100 hot takes in 1 hour for the 2024 season. Appreciate y'all being here. Y'all have a beautiful evening, and I'll see y'all early in the morning. I'm out. Peace.